What is up? This is your LA in a minute, and I'm here at what just might be the most underrated landmark in all of Los Angeles, the Venice Canals. Let's get into it.
Oh, we're excited from the valleys to the coastal cities and the South Bay. He's a man about town who has seen it all and pretty much done it all.
Here to talk about his love for all things Los Angeles, Mr. LA in a minute himself, Evan Lovett is here. Evan, thanks for coming back, man. You're a crowd favorite. We love having you here. You recently did an In-N-Out video where you revealed some interesting facts about the chain. What's your go-to order?
My go-to order, double with whole grilled onion, sometimes chopped chilies, not always, and of course fries, and if I have my druthers, a shake. I will rotate the shake. I'm not loyal, chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, any of them, but today I'll lean towards vanilla, let's say.
Okay,
Animal
today's a
style?
vanilla day.
Yeah.
No, he said no animal.
No, animal
I
style?
like animal style, but sometimes it's too much, and on the fries, it's great right away, but once it starts cooling down, animal style
Yeah,
becomes
that's
a little
true.
bit of a problem. Yeah.
What were some of the interesting facts most people you don't think know about In-N-Out?
I think the most important thing, or most important fact for me about In-N-Out is they invented the modern drive-through. Esther and Harry Snyder.
Not McDonald's.
No. Harry Snyder was a tinkerer, so he would work in his garage, and he foresaw the whole car culture and what it would mean, because people thought it would be silly to like eat in your cars on the road. Who would want to do that? But he saw freeways developing, LA laying the groundwork literally for what would become car culture and traveling and road trips and seeing the world. And he was tinkering in his garage, and he figured out a two-way speaker that, you know, enabled people to be able to order and get their food in the car and then hit the road and eat while they're driving. And I think that, you know, In-N-Out, for its legacy and for as much love as it gets in LA and beyond, that's one fact that maybe people don't necessarily realize, even if you are waiting in that drive-through line for a little while.
It's worth the wait.
And I do always love it. Always feel so old school when they do say, "Are you eating in your car?" and they give you that little paper mat, because you don't get a paper mat from anyone else. And they were recently, of course, voted best French fries among all fast food chains, which was very surprising. I like their fries, but only extra crispy. How about you?
Okay, very polarizing.
Yes.
Because as a kid, I definitely did not like them, but growing older, I love them now because I realize they're potato-y. Like, I like that
they're
potato.
fresh.
And even I get the crispy, and usually I'm on the side of crispy fries, but something with In-N-Out, I just love. It's so potato forward that it's delicious. And you know what I do? I take their like special In-N-Out sauce. So that's my like dip and go-to with the In-N-Out fries. But I'd say they're my favorite too.
The thing about Megan, she likes McDonald's, and so do I, because they're sugary.
fries.
Yeah, how they coat theirs is different, but In-N-Out does taste like earthy potato.
And nothing wrong with McDonald's, by the way.
Exactly.
I mean, people
Both
say some
good.
things, but I think underneath all of us love McDonald's.
Got to eat the In-N-Out fries fresh, though. Awfully tough sometimes.
That
and
is
you go,
true.
Right, and go home a little later, and it's like, not quite the same. Still good, but not the same. All right, let's talk about some hidden gems, the Venice Canals being one of them. Great place. Some people have never even been
I was
there.
gonna say, I don't think people really realize, if you're not, as a transplant, like I had to learn about the Venice Canals.
Right.
Look, as a native, I had to learn about the Venice Canals. My parents would take me to my parents were hippies, right? So we'd go to the Venice boardwalk all the time and see, you know, the dude on the guitar with the skateboard and watch the performers and all that stuff. And I never realized that the Venice Canals were there until I was an adult and growing up and, you know, doing the dating thing and things like that. And people were like, you know, romantic spot. You should say, Venice Canals. I'm like,
right,
what are you talking about? But it's an area, I think there's 6 remaining canals. It might be 8. But it really is an homage to Venice, Italy. And that's how it started, because it was Venice of America. When Abbot Kinney, you know, Abbot Kinney like the street, he was the founder of Venice. It was just swampland and marshland. And he had this vision to build canals, to build a Venice of America, duplicating the Venice of Italy. And it was actually much bigger. There were like 24 initial canals, gondolas, the whole deal,
That would have been
piers.
cool.
And Venice was like the place to be in the late 1910s, early 1920s. But what ended up happening is Abbot Kinney passed away. Finances sort of got in disarray, but even more so, they discovered oil. And Venice became this huge oil field. And it's so crazy because if you see the old photos of it, there's the oil rigs and derricks all over the place with people on the beach. And then the canals, little by little, got filled in. And especially, here we go, car culture again. As car culture kind of took over Los Angeles, people were like, well, can't drive over these canals. let's make most of them into streets. So the canals kind of got pushed to the side, and Venice Boardwalk was where it was at. Venice Beach was where it was at. Venice turned into a great counterculture hub of Los Angeles, and that became the main thing. While the canals sort of fell into disarray, and now if you see the pictures of like the 60s and 70s, the canals, they're kind of nasty and like falling apart and dilapidated. But in the 80s, and especially in the 90s, there was a big movement to clean up and sort of resurrect the canals. And now they're beautiful. There's these little bridges, and the homes on the side of them are just and it's like, how did I not know that this existed in Los Angeles? And it's such an awesome place to walk around, spend some time, and you're steps away from Abbot Kinney, close to the Venice Boardwalk, and it really is one of the hidden gems.
And it's all public, right? Anyone can go walk along the canal and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. The little bridge, take your bike, walk.
How far of a walk is it from the boardwalk to a canal?
Boardwalk to the canal is a little bit of what you could listen.
I haven't seen them. I'll be honest with you.
I've been there one time.
I knew they existed, but I almost thought like, well, what is it? Yeah. But it sounds like it's a destination.
Okay, I always think about this in LA terms. It's a little bit of a walk, but by any other city's terms, it's absolutely walkable. But you know what? I'll be honest. Last time we went, we drove. We went to the Venice Boardwalk, and then we drove to the canals. Look, we're LA people, but yes, it's walkable. It's still in Venice. I don't know exactly, but I'd say it's like a mile and a half, somewhere in that.
Somewhere worth going.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
All right, summer's here as of a week and a half ago. You featured Metrolink as the way to get around SoCal. Any recommendations for a short trip?
Man, I gotta tell you, Metrolink is a great place to get around. It's so underrated, taking a train in Los Angeles. We have the Metro. Metro and Metrolink are different. They're both great, mass transit.
Explain the difference.
We're embracing more. Metro is for the short trips, like Universal City to Union Station, somewhere like that. But Metrolink will take you out to El Monte. It'll take you to Rancho Cucamonga.
San Diego.
It'll take you to Ventura, San Diego. And there's so many great lines on it, and the trains are clean. It's inexpensive. It's easy to use with the app. Where I went last time, believe it or not, is El Monte. And now El Monte is an underrated community, super historic in Los Angeles. It's where oldies were born. Okay, so if you've heard Art LeBeau and what he meant to Los Angeles and what oldies still mean to Los Angeles with lowrider culture and cruising and everything like that, El Monte Legion Stadium was where Art LeBeau used to host these events, which were the first events in Los Angeles where interracial couples were allowed to mingle and dance, because during the 40s and 50s and even into the early 60s, there was legislation against that in Los Angeles. So El Monte is technically outside LA city limits. And so Art LeBeau, who again ushered in the whole oldies era, had these dances, had these events at the El Monte Legion Stadium. And it was a watershed moment in Los Angeles, because again, we are the... Look at this panel right here. The diversity, true melting pot. And whatever community you're in, you have that sort of representation in Los Angeles, and it's a beautiful thing. But in El Monte is where that really started to go down. And look, the youth culture drives pop culture. It is, and that music, that sound became oldies, and that was celebrated. And so I went out to El Monte on the Metrolink and sort of like. I did an LA in a Minute episode out there and enjoyed that. And it was a good place to go because it's just so quick, so easy. And taking the train, I will say this, even for somebody who drives, you don't need to hassle and worry about traffic.
Right.
So taking the train is like a good...
And you wouldn't think of El Monte, and I think it's great because of all the history. And that's what's so beautiful about what you do, is because you do find these places that, you wouldn't normally think of.
Absolutely. And I got to say one more thing about El Monte. They used to have a lion farm, which in the 1920s was LA's biggest tourist attraction. It was called Gay's Lion Farm. It was run by Muriel and Charles Gay, who used to train lions for the motion picture studios at the time, because lions in movies were a thing.
Yeah.
Big enough they were as a business. And then they ended up having this collection of 200 lions, and they have them do tricks and performances and stuff like that. But and that was all in El Monte too. And obviously that closed down, and it's just represented by a statue now. But El Monte has all kinds of history, and it's a proud community. I like just visiting all the different communities in LA, because they all have something awesome to offer.
So much history. Okay, so on your social media, you recently had a Dodgers ticket giveaway.
True. Thank you. Injury needs.
Yes. So are we going to see more things like that? Are you doing a lot of giveaways?
We are going to be doing more giveaways and more promotions. The Dodger ticket one was a great start. We're going to be doing concert tickets. We are going to be doing, what's the next?
Like to what? The Hollywood Bowl or Greek,
you
other
name
places?
It, whatever comes up, because we had such a good response to that, and people really like it. And again, what we're doing is celebrating Los Angeles. So any good event, again, more Dodger stuff, Lakers when they come.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be fun, and I think that, raffles and giveaways are a good way just to have engagement. And again, keeping it positive so people celebrate and engage. I think it's a great way to kind of show people different things about Los Angeles and just get them excited.
Okay, real quickly,
Well,
we're almost
do
out of
need to-
time.
I know, but we need to ask, how would you, do you just sign up, follow you?
Follow
How do they
him.
do
Yes.
this?
So in the Dodger ticket giveaway, this one was a partner of ours called Injury Needs. So they did the sponsorship for a family 4-pack of Dodger tickets. So it's follow Ellie in a minute, follow Injury Needs, and then follow the podcast account, my podcast, In a Minute with Evan Lovett. And you follow, you comment, you send a DM, and then you're entered into the giveaway. But again, that one was already given away, so the next one is coming up soon. But
Okay, I was gonna do a quick this or that, but you gotta be really, really quick.
Go,
We're almost
go.
out of time. Okay, Lakers or Dodgers? Go.
Dodgers.
Okay, In-N-Out or Pinks?
In and out.
West Side or Beverly Hills or Hollywood?
Hollywood, actually.
Hiking or beaching?
Hiking.
Surfing or skiing?
Skiing.
Okay, there you
Oh,
go.
wow.
Be sure to check out Evan's Instagram. You can follow him on X as well. LA in a Minute is his handle. You can also listen to his podcast. As he mentioned, it's called In a Minute with Evan Lovett. Everything you've ever wanted to know about Los Angeles.
This
and
guy
so
is
much
the
more.
best. You'll love it.
It is true. Thank you, Evan. We'll be right back.
Thanks. Always great. Appreciate you guys.